The theater lights dim slowly, and a soft golden glow spreads across the stage of America's Got Talent. The massive auditorium is packed from wall to wall. Thousands of people sit in anticipation, whispering quietly, waiting to see who will walk through the curtain next. Backstage, two young Filipino boys stand side by side, holding hands tightly. Their palms are slightly sweaty, and their hearts are racing so loudly it feels like the whole room can hear them. They are dressed simply, clean shirts, neatly pressed pants, nothing flashy, nothing extravagant. Just two boys with a dream bigger than the stage itself. A stage manager gives them a reassuring nod. "You're up next." They take a deep breath together. As their names are announced, the curtains slowly open. The bright stage lights hit their faces, momentarily blinding them. The audience claps politely as they walk toward the center of the stage. Each step feels heavy, almost unreal. This is the moment they have imagined so many times back home. The camera cuts to the judges' panel. Sitting there are the familiar faces that every contestant dreams of impressing. Among them is Simon Cowell, known for his honesty and high standards. He looks at the boys curiously, slightly raising his eyebrows as they approach the microphone. The younger boy swallows nervously. The older one gives his hand a gentle squeeze, a silent message, "We can do this." Simon leans forward. "Hello, what are your names?" Their voices tremble slightly as they introduce themselves. The audience responds with soft applause and encouraging cheers. "And where are you from?" another judge asks. "We're from the Philippines," the older boy answers proudly. The audience cheers louder at the mention of their home country. A few Filipino flags wave in the crowd. The boys' eyes light up for a moment. They are not alone here. Simon tilts his head slightly. "And how old are you both?" They answer. "So young." The audience reacts with gentle awes. Simon's expression softens just a little. "What made you decide to come here?" he asks. There is a brief pause. The older boy looks at his brother, then back at the judges. His voice grows steadier. "We love to sing, sir, and we want to help our family. Our mother works very hard for us. We want to make her proud." The theater becomes completely silent. No background noise, no whispers, just pure attention. The younger boy adds quietly, "She sacrificed everything so we could study and follow our dreams." The camera cuts to audience members already wiping their eyes. Simon studies them carefully. He has heard many stories over the years, but something about their sincerity feels different. There's no exaggeration, no dramatic acting, just truth. "So this means a lot to you?" Simon asks. "It means everything," the older boy replies. Backstage, their mother watches from a small monitor. Her hands are clasped tightly together. Tears already stream down her face. She whispers a prayer under her breath. On stage, the boys prepare themselves. The microphone stands in front of them like a test, like a doorway between the life they know and the life they dream about. Simon gives a small nod. "All right, whenever you're ready." The music track begins softly. The first few piano notes float gently through the theater speakers. The sound feels delicate, almost fragile, just like the moment. The boys close their eyes briefly. They remember singing in their small living room back home. No fancy lights, no giant audience. Just their mother sitting on a worn-out couch, smiling proudly at them. Now the stage is enormous. The lights are brighter than the sun. The pressure is heavier than anything they've ever felt. The younger boy opens his eyes first. He steps slightly closer to the microphone. For a split second, there is hesitation. You can see it in his breathing. "But then," he begins. His voice comes out soft at first, almost like a whisper. It trembles slightly on the first word. The audience leans in closer. The older brother joins in on the second line. And suddenly, something changes. The nerves begin to melt away. Their harmonies start to blend naturally, beautifully. Their voices, though young, carry a depth far beyond their years. It isn't just singing, it's storytelling. The camera cuts to Simon again. At first, he watches carefully, analyzing. But slowly his expression shifts, his posture relaxes, his eyes narrow slightly, not in criticism, but in focus. He wasn't expecting this. The audience is completely silent now. You could hear a pin drop. The boys sing about hope, about struggle, about never giving up even when life feels impossible. Each lyric feels personal. Each note feels lived. The younger boy glances at his brother during a difficult part of the song. The older brother nods gently, guiding him through the harmony. Their connection is unbreakable, not just musical, but emotional. Backstage, their mother covers her mouth as she sobs quietly. She never imagined they would stand on a stage like this. On stage, confidence begins to replace fear. Their voices grow stronger, bigger, more powerful. The theater starts to feel smaller as their sound fills every corner of the room. One audience member begins to tear up, then another. A judge places her hand over her heart. Simon rests his chin on his hand, clearly moved. The boys reach the first emotional peak of the song. The harmony rises beautifully, perfectly in sync. It's not flawless in a technical sense. There are tiny imperfections, but that's what makes it real. And real is powerful. As they finish the first major verse, the audience begins clapping softly in rhythm. Encouragement builds in the room like a wave ready to crash. The boys take a tiny breath. They realize something important in that moment. They belong here. The fear that once filled their hearts has transformed into something else, determination. They are no longer just two nervous boys from a small town. They are performers. Dreamers standing on one of the biggest stages in the world. And this is only the beginning. The music continues to rise gently, setting up the emotional climax that will follow in the next scene. But right now, in this first powerful moment, the world is witnessing something pure. Two brothers, one dream, one chance, and a stage that will never forget them. The soft piano melody continues to float through the theater of America's Got Talent. But now something has shifted. The nervous energy that once surrounded the two Filipino boys is gone. In its place stands quiet confidence. The younger brother takes a deeper breath and steps slightly closer to the microphone. His voice, once trembling, now carries a gentle strength. It isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It's honest. And honesty travels further than volume ever could. The lyrics speak of sacrifice, of sleepless nights, of dreams whispered into darkness when no one else was listening. The older brother closes his eyes as he sings the harmony. You can see he isn't just performing, he's remembering. Every word feels personal. Every note carries weight. The camera slowly pans across the audience. A woman in the front row presses her hand against her chest. A man wipes his eyes discreetly. Even teenagers in the balcony, who moments ago were cheering loudly, now sit in complete silence. On the judges' panel, expressions begin to change. One judge leans forward, elbows on the desk. Another blinks rapidly, clearly holding back tears. And then the camera finds Simon Cowell. At first, Simon had watched carefully, analyzing pitch and tone as he always does. But now his expression is different. His usual critical gaze softens. He shifts in his chair, folding his hands together thoughtfully. The boys move into the second verse. This time, the older brother takes the lead. His voice rises stronger, filled with emotion that seems far beyond his years. There is a slight crack in one of the higher notes, but instead of weakening the moment, it strengthens it. The imperfection makes it real, raw, human. The younger brother joins him gently, their harmonies blending like they've been singing together their entire lives. Because they have. Back home, they practiced in a tiny living room with peeling paint and a single electric fan humming in the corner. No professional coaches, no expensive equipment, just passion. And now, that passion fills one of the biggest stages in the world. The music begins to build. Strings enter softly behind the piano. The melody grows richer, fuller. The sound swells like a rising wave. The boys exchange a quick glance. This is the part they practiced over and over again. This is the moment that could change everything. The younger brother steps forward for a solo line, the most vulnerable lyric in the entire song. His voice lowers, almost to a whisper. If we fall, will you still believe? The theater is completely still. No coughing, no movement, just silence hanging in the air. Then he lifts his head and sings the next line stronger. Because we never stop believing. The emotion in his voice is undeniable. The camera cuts backstage. Their mother is crying openly now, her hands covering her face. A producer stands beside her, visibly moved. Back on stage, the older brother places a hand gently on his sibling's shoulder. A small gesture, but powerful. It says everything without words. The music begins climbing toward the chorus. The lights above the stage brighten slowly, illuminating the boys in a warm golden glow. They inhale together, and then they sing. The chorus explodes into the theater, not with noise but with feeling. Their harmonies soar higher than before, stronger, more confident. The younger brother reaches a note that sends chills through the crowd. The older brother supports him perfectly, grounding the harmony. The audience can't hold back anymore. Some stand. Others place their hands over their mouths. Tears are visible everywhere. On the judges' panel, one judge shakes her head in disbelief. Not in criticism, but in awe. Simon's eyes glisten under the stage lights. He quickly blinks and straightens slightly, but the emotion is visible. The boys continue into the final section of the song. Their fear is completely gone now. In its place is power, not the power of fame, not the power of perfection, but the power of purpose. Each lyric feels like a promise to their mother, a promise to their family, a promise to themselves. The music softens unexpectedly. One final quiet bridge. The younger brother sings, alone again, his voice delicate but steady. The older brother slowly joins him in harmony, their voices weaving together like threads in the same story. The theater feels smaller now, almost intimate, as if thousands of people have disappeared and it's just the boys in their dream. The instrumental begins its final build. Drums enter softly, strings swell, the lights intensify. This is the climax. The boys look at each other one last time. A silent countdown passes between them. 3, 2, 1. They deliver the final high note together. It's powerful, controlled, emotional. The note echoes through the theater, rising into the rafters and lingering in the air long after their voices stop. And then, silence. One heartbeat, two, and suddenly the entire theater erupts. The audience leaps to their feet in a thunderous standing ovation. Cheers explode from every corner of the room. People clap above their heads. Some are crying openly, not even trying to hide it. The boys stand frozen for a second, overwhelmed. They weren't expecting this. They thought they might impress the judges. They never imagined this reaction. The younger brother's lip trembles slightly. The older brother squeezes his hand tightly again, grounding them both. The applause doesn't stop. On the judges' panel, every judge is standing. Simon rises slowly to his feet, clapping steadily. There is a rare smile on his face, not the polite kind, but a genuine one. The boys bow slightly, tears now forming in their own eyes. They came onto this stage as hopeful dreamers, but in just a few minutes they have become something more. They have connected. They have moved thousands of strangers. They have proven that heart can be louder than fear. As the applause continues, the camera zooms in on their faces, a mixture of disbelief, gratitude, and overwhelming emotion. They don't know what the judges will say yet. They don't know what decision is coming. But in this moment, none of that matters, because they gave everything they had, and the world listened. The golden confetti has not fallen yet. The buzzer has not been pressed. But something even more important has already happened. The audience believed. And sometimes, that's where miracles begin.